Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about how the Wilds Season 2 basically didn't care for the Rafael character and failed him. After watching The Wild Season 2 and being utterly disgusted by it, and to the point where I would no longer watch this show no more, even if it gets a Season 3, I wanted to go more into a deep dive into the male characters. Because I don't want really no confusion. Because when you hear my rants on Season 2, I don't want people to think I hate the male cast. Ever since before Season 2 came out, I've been telling people just give the boys a chance. Maybe they'll be okay and everything. And then when I watched it, my fears came true. Is sadly the boys' story arc ruined the show, but not in the way you would think. See, it's not the actor's fault. It's the writer's fault and the showrunner for lazy, stereotypical writing. And that was completely done on purpose. And the sad thing is, because I truly believe the showrunner has a problem with dudes. I've been saying that since season one, and I love season one. All right, season one is a great show. And and then when you hear the character of Gretchen talk, I truly feel like that is the showrunner talking through Gretchen and everything, sharing her views and stuff like that of like wanting to see men fail and male toxic this and that and stuff like that. Now, one thing that was very subtle about season two was the political undertones and stuff. They took real world issues and they fed it into the male characters, but we don't know why. And there wasn't no real reason as to why they did it. I don't mind if they do that. Star Trek does that all the time and everything. That would make Star Trek so great. But but Star Trek has a reason for why it's doing that. This show doesn't tell us why it's doing what it's doing. It just takes like a headline from that of whatever went on in the past 5-6 years, and they just fed it into the male characters and stuff. And Rafael is a good example of that. See, Rafael is a Mexican immigrant. He lives in Tijuana. He drives over the border to Data, California, and goes to school there. He goes to a very good, prestigious school. Now, right off the bat, when we do meet Rafael in the fast forward interviews, he is in handcuffs. He looks angry, and that lets you. And then there's a mystery going around. A missing 15 days of audio that the people who kidnapped them don't know what happened. And it makes you lead. They make you believe, okay, something bad happened, and then for the audience, they do the red herring and make you think that Rafael did it. Now, with him being a Mexican immigrant, that's just kind of messed up because we all know what happened about like 5-6 years ago when white people turned against that of Mexicans and everything. It was bad. It was a bad time in America. And this show tried to feed in a little bit into that stereotype by making the audience assume that about him. Now, when we see him on the island and everything, he's a nice guy and everything. He's nice, he's shy, he's awkward. So what the world could have turned him? Because I think he said this island, like they went to become men, but it turned them into monsters. So what turned him? And when we see his backstory, we see he has a girlfriend who's also Mexican, but she lives in America. Her family is loaded rich. And so him and her have a great time. And then we see the first problem that happens. He's getting ready for like a banquet party thing, and his mom and dad has no idea he's going. His mom and dad want him to help out with the family business of selling was it tamales? I forgot some food he was gonna sell. He doesn't want to do that. He tells them he has to be there for his girlfriend. His parents don't necessarily like his girlfriends. We don't really know why, because his girlfriend is really nice and everything. And basically the story is that they fear that this girl is corrupting him. They want their son to stay like a nice, good, meager little boy who values that of family and hard working, and they don't want him to turn into some rich, snobby socialite. And he tells them, well, what was the point of me going to this school? Wasn't that the point for me to better myself and get a good education and a better job and provide for that of the family? So you would think that would make sense. Like that's why they sent him to such like this amazing like preppy type school and everything, you know. And he goes to school on a visa and stuff. And but him and the family they argue about that. They just don't want him to go. And so it would have been nice to actually have a reason as to the real reason as to why they hate this girl and this and that, and why they don't want their son to change. But we don't get that and everything. And then so the first problem that happens with him is when he's crossing the border, he's impatient and he bumps into another car. He's he tells the dude like he's sorry. It's another Mexican dude, right? Now this is where the problem comes again for the show and the stereotype. The other person in the car gets mad, talking about he don't care, he needs to be more careful, and he shoves him with one hand. Being a hot-headed teenager, Rafael gets mad and he pushes the dude with both hands in a very angry way. So of course they start fighting. No fists are thrown, they just wrestling. And then it's broken up by the police that are there on the border. I don't know anything about the border. I don't live in California, so I'm not familiar with the police are called there, but in a way they break it up. But who do we see them break it up with? We don't see them arresting the other driver. We see them arresting that of Rafael. And, you know, they didn't even ask what had happened. They just arrested both because they're shoving each other. And they arrest him. And they throw him in jail. And so I'm just like, the show wants to show that, oh, Mexican immigrants are treated badly and they're wrongly accused and this and that. And that's what happened. But he fought with that of another Mexican, and we don't even see the other Mexican dude get arrested. Now, it would have been more interesting if the person would have been like a different race and that of American and stuff. Then it'll be all like, oh, okay, so this is what they're trying to say, is that people always believe their own people, but not the other country because, you know, the country is so divided and everything, right? And then, so when he is in jail, he doesn't want to call. Well, he does call his parents, but he won't talk to them on the phone. And so it's like, why not? Is it because he left when he wasn't supposed to leave and he's afraid of getting in trouble? Does he just resent his family because they're poor? Like, what is the real deal? We're not really told because the writing this season is very lazy and very rushed. So he calls his girlfriend and his parents get him out. His girlfriend parents are amazing. They understood the situation. They tell him, sadly, his visa is going to get revoked, but it's probably only going to last a couple of months. And his dad has like an immigration lawyer and stuff like that. And there's a program that he can go to and all this. Like, he's literally trying to help Rafael out. Then we see some shadiness towards his girlfriend. When he tries to hold her hand, she pulls it away from him. She doesn't want to look at him. She's just playing on her phone. She is irritated. Why is she irritated? We don't know. The show will not tell us, like literally at all, in none of the episodes. Is she upset because she knew he was poor and she knew he was from another country, or did she not? Like, is she upset because he's not an American? Is she upset because he's poor? Is she upset because he called them the rich people and not that of his parents the poor people? Like, why is she upset? See, we don't know, and because the show will not tell us and everything. And so that was bad writing on that part. And then what makes it worse is then this whole season's only 8 episodes, and they literally make you believe that the Mexican immigrant probably murdered somebody throughout this entire season until it's revealed what happened in the 8th episode. See, he has a friend on the island, and his friend At first seemed like a cool guy until he sexually assaulted somebody, another boy on the thing. And what happened? They made Raphael the only person in their group not to believe that this dude sexually assaulted somebody. They made the Mexican immigrant, who they want to look as a stereotype, not believe somebody getting assaulted. And he sticks with this dude to the end. And then what makes matters worse is that the dude that he's protecting literally tries to kill one of the other boys twice. But this time he actually gets to see it. And so then they have you believe once again that he murdered this bad dude with the boat paddle. He beats the crap out of him with the boat paddle. He stabs him with the boat paddle. He punches the crap out of him. There's blood all over that boy's face and he's convulsing and everything. Then it cuts from that until we don't know what happened after that. Then we find out towards the end of, because we literally think, oh, he murdered somebody. That's why he's in handcuffs and everything, right? But guess what? The dude is alive. So he didn't kill nobody. And because a boat found them, and they found them, like, it found him bashed and bloody and stuff like that. Now, the dude that he tried to kill, the bad dude who tried to kill the other guy, he could have vouched for Raphael and been like, oh, no, he's innocent, blah, 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 blah. For whatever reason, they didn't believe it and they handcuffed him. Now, the dude who almost died, he is a rough dude who also beat up that guy, and yet he's not in handcuffs because he's white. And I'm just like, what kind of backwards storytelling is this? They want you to be all like, haha, look at us. We're trying to get political savvy and everything to show that how like Mexican immigrants are treated badly and like how you misinterpret them and stuff like that and how they're innocent. But the show went out its way to write this Mexican dude as like a sociopath, because we literally see him get angry and stuff on the island, but we don't. And so like it's like they put that in our heads. It wasn't us that put that there. They did that. They messed up the whole, them trying to be, I guess you could call it politically correct and everything. It backlashed on them. It backfired on them. And it's kind of like, what the world were they writing? Because it's kind of like they want you to literally believe that people misjudge people based on their race and assume the worst out of them and always want to arrest them. But after watching this season, the writers made you assume he murdered somebody for 8 whole episodes. And I'm just like, y'all the one who wrote that stereotype. We wasn't thinking that until you made us think that way. And so they let the Raphael character down so badly. So badly. So badly. If this was season 1, oh, he would have been written so much better. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.